Today's video, we are going to talk about Google and YouTube ads for wedding photographers, how to cut through the crowd and actually make some money running ads for your photography business, specifically wedding photography. This technically should and would apply for other types of niche photography, but since most of you guys make the big dollars with the weddings, I thought I would cover this in particular on this video for the many people out there that want that information. I'm Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, a online advertising agency that literally guarantees results for their clients before taking management fees at our agency. We are the only agency in the world who offers any kind of similar or guarantee at all, which should tell you about the quality of the information you're about to receive here on this video. I'm going to go through the exact methodology of what we used in this exact space to generate leads, cost per lead that you can expect, closing rate on leads, which is basically going to indirectly give you the ROI on these methods. So if you watch to the end of the video, you will actually not just know what to do that works in your space, but how profitable it actually is, which is obviously where the rubber meets the road and what other videos are not going to touch on their videos, given that they either haven't done it or they're just leaving out the most important parts. With that said, getting into the content here, there are kind of like two distinct channels that you're going to use to run ads for a wedding photography business. There's the search engine ad side of the business. That is running ads on Google search, Bing search. Bing search has about 15% of the search market of people actively looking for a wedding photography company on a monthly basis. Then you also have the display ad side of the business. That is non-search engine ads, Facebook, YouTube, running ads on Gmail through demand gen campaigns and the like. Of which the low-hanging fruit is always going to be the search campaigns, because these people are already raising their hands saying they would like to hire somebody. Yes, it can be hard, or the hardest one to go after, if you don't know anything about running search ads and or don't want to actually learn and or too cheap to hire somebody who actually knows what they're doing, because there's a huge difference in somebody who says they can do PPC versus another guy. My typical campaigns are going to get 10x the results with a typical person you hire off the street is going to be or agency you're going to get through them, because they'll spend an hour setting up their campaigns and I'm spending 100 hours setting up my campaigns. And with that, to get good results, you need good ads, good campaigns, good landing pages, good follow-up marketing, that is remarketing ads, really good tracking, sales tracking, all of it ties together to get you the type of results I'm talking about here. But with that said, if you're going to run your ads on Google search, the main stuff that works is people typing in wedding photographers near me, and the like, okay? That's going to get you about 15 bucks a lead if you do it right, like I mentioned. And if you want details on doing it right, I have all that content for free here on this channel. I talk about exactly how I set up my campaigns on Google search, which for a local service company, which you can find specific videos on how to set up Google search for local services, local service companies. It's basically done on a basic level the same way every time. You write unique ads for different keywords that you're targeting. You make unique landing pages for the different keywords, so you have the best ads and the best landing pages versus all the competitors in your niche market. 15 bucks a lead is great, considering you're going to close about 17%-ish of those leads, and you're talking about an average deal size of 100 to 200 bucks, or right around 100 bucks a deal or a sale, which that's phenomenal. That's going to get you phenomenal returns on your investment, obviously. So once you've got that low-hanging fruit, you can also target info terms. That is, people typing in how to find the best photographer, how to hire a wedding photographer, and the like. Monetize that traffic, though. You can't just do what the average lazy person is going to want to do, which is to say, hey, I'm a wedding photographer, hire me, which that's not going to make you any money. Just take it from me right now, right here. It is highly profitable, though, to go after those people, just not the typical way that most people think things are done, which is to say, I have a service, hire me, and doing that regardless of where the person's searching or where in the sales process they are. What you do is you create a guide for your local market that says, before you hire a wedding photographer in Dallas, you need to see this information. That is the basic title of your ebook. that you're going to have. And that's what you're going to advertise on these info terms. So if they're looking for how to hire a wedding photographer and the like, you're going to hit them with an ad that promotes this ebook. That information you're basically not going to find elsewhere, which what makes it, irresistible to the user that you want to respond to your ads. Particularly when you add the local component to it. It could be the same information that any photographer uses, but before you hire a wedding photographer in Dallas, you need this information. Don't get ripped off. I like always to add that last part in there as well. You're going to get a really high opt-in rate, and you're going to close a lot of those leads. What you do is you have a little form there that asks for their email and phone number once they get to the landing page after clicking on your ad. Then, once they fill that out, you give them the ebook, of course, but immediately you're going to call them. And there's technology out there that allows you, when somebody fills out a form like that on your website, on a landing page that you're driving traffic to, it'll immediately call you or a salesperson at your company and say, John Smith just filled out the ebook request form. Would you like to get in contact with John Smith? If so, press 1. You hit 1 on your phone, and it immediately calls that person who just requested the ebook on your site, which allows you to start a conversation with that person, and which goes pretty much something like this. Hey, John, I know you just downloaded my ebook. I'm the one who wrote that ebook. And if you have any questions at all about comparing any of the wedding photographers in the Dallas area, I'm here because I understand pretty much who does what in the market. And if you're looking for the best one for your needs, I can help you answer those questions. You can ask me anything you want. You get them to start talking. You just leave it open-ended like that. They start talking. The longer you talk to them, the more likely they are to do business with you. And if you do that right, you should be getting around 14%-ish of those people to hire you. Why? Because they're not searching for how to hire the best photographer or whatnot, unless they're likely to be hiring somebody. It's just a matter of who. And when you provide excellent quality information, both in terms of written form and vocal form, you're standing out as the most trusted option because they can hire you based upon price and trust. Trust comes from providing that information like I described and having a fantastic portfolio. You do that, you're going to end up with really good closing rates from people that as soon as you get their contact information, you can get those kind of closing rates, regardless of them being close to making a decision or not. When they do make the decision to hire finally, you're going to get that kind of closing rate with the people in which you gather the contact information. That way, or another way, which I'm going to also discuss here in a moment through YouTube. But with that said, once you kind of do that, you can also, via Google search, target competitor traffic. That is people typing in, literally speaking, your competitor's name via Google, via Bing. If your competitor is Joe Schmo Photography, they type that in, you have an ad that says, before hiring Joe Schmo's Photography, you need to see this. Or if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can just say, before hiring a photographer in Dallas, you need to see this. Then you drive them to a landing page that has that same offer on it. Okay? For best results, you technically are going to want to create a unique landing page for each competitor. So if they get to the landing page and you're able to say specifically, before you hire Joe Schmo's Photography, you need to know this information, and then also have like a matrix that say us versus them, and then have that ebook for them to download, it's going to work considerably better. That's going to be our default way of doing it. You can get some of the results or all of the results. It's up to you, but you will always do usually twice as good at least having a unique landing page for each competitor, because people, when they're going to hire that competitor, they want to know why you're better than that competitor, not just better in general, because they probably got a referral from somebody. And if you're going to seriously woo people away at that point in time, you need to come prepared. And then with that, you're going to want to pick competitors that are priced similarly to you, because you're not going to get somebody who's way above you to go with you probably, and vice versa. So once you've made a list of all the people that are in your price range, then you're going to create one landing page for each one of them. And that's what you're going to do. Now, if you go ahead and go to the full extent of what I'm talking about, you should be able to get leads for about $6 a lead, which is obviously even better than up here. Downside being that the closing rate's going to be closer to around 4% or so. 4% is what we got on the last campaign specifically, which is why these numbers are so specific. you're still talking about paying a couple $100s for a booking, which is still obviously really good and really profitable. Take it from me, go ahead and set up a unique funnel for each competitor, and you'll siphon off people that are going to go to that competitor at the last minute all day long, or all month long if you want to say that. You also can target people typing in review terms. The competitor name plus the word review or reviews after it. Those are actually really qualified leads. You can actually get, and with that, by the way, it's the same funnel. Before you hire XYZ competitor, you must see this. Or before you hire a photographer in Dallas, you need to see this. Drive them to the landing page, you'll get somewhere around $19 per lead, which is what we got on our last campaign, and around 24% closing rate on leads, which is better than what you're going to have when they're just looking for a photographer outright. The reason of which is the percentage of people who will search for a competitor and then review or reviews after it, those are, as a whole, those people, that audience, if you will, has more people that are going to actually buy than somebody typing in for wedding photographers near me. Wedding photographers near me as a search term and traffic from people typing in that kind of a keyword, a lot of them will buy, but not all of them. Once they get down to looking at reviews, which is something people do usually at the last minute before they go ahead and hire, that person's almost guaranteed to have hired somebody. Therefore, your closing rates are going to be higher as a result. That's the formula for search ads. Once you've tapped all that, then you can start going after, through your same Google Ads account, set up for yourself a demand gen campaign and YouTube campaign. And to monetize those two platforms, it's actually really simple. Because you've already done the hard work of putting this ebook together, you can actually reuse this to target people on YouTube specifically and on Gmail through demand gen campaigns. And there's two basic general ways that you're going to monetize people on YouTube and through Gmail, which is, at least if we're talking about YouTube, content-related audiences. So people specifically who are looking for information on how to hire a wedding photographer, what to consider, so on and so forth. Any of those videos at all within your local market that you cover, people are going to watch. You're going to have your video ad that has the same message as before. Before you're hiring a wedding photographer in Dallas, you need to know this information. You drive them to the landing page and you got them. That'll generate leads for setup like we set it up, about $15 a lead and close at about 9%. Those are actually really good leads because that's the exact style of information that they're looking for at the time of showing it to them. It's just as good as people on Google searching for similar information because it's the same idea. You also, though, got recent searches. So if somebody's typed in either wedding photographer near me, wedding photographer Dallas, or how to find the best wedding photographer in the recent past, you can show them a video ad with the same message on it to monetize that traffic as well. It's not going to do quite as well as people that are actively looking for that information about how to hire a wedding photographer, but it'll work well enough where it will still be profitable. You're talking about paying close to $40 a lead. On the last campaign we ran, it was $37 and 7% closing rate on those leads. So yes, you're going to have to talk to a lot of people to get one closing, and the leads are not going to be cheap, but you're talking about it still being profitable, paying $500 or so for a closing. It's still doable. You have your own opinion about that, but ROI-wise, at typical price points, it's still profitable. Therefore, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do it. That's the general formula there. Demand gen campaign-wise, you set up a demand gen campaign to target people on Gmail and then similarly on YouTube with it. It's basically the same thing. You target the same exact people that have made a recent search on Google via stuff we're targeting people on Google with already. You do that through something called custom intent audiences. You literally create the custom intent audience saying, if they search for any of these terms on Google, I want them on this audience so that when you set up your demand gen campaign, you can target anybody who's made a search like that in the past. And you have an ad that says, before you hire a wedding photographer in Dallas, you need to know this, what have you, driving them to that same landing page. What you're ultimately effectively doing is you're targeting every single person who is already looking to hire somebody right away or soon to hire somebody because they're doing some sort of research in the market. If you wanted to take this a bit further, you could run a display campaign, which will get you on blogs, forums, anything to do with hiring a wedding photographer. You could also target wedding photographer reviews, or people that are currently on YouTube. You can actually target people who are watching any of your competitors' videos on their YouTube channel, by the way, or people that have typed their name into Google recently or been to their website in the past. This is all doable through the targeting options that Google has at your disposal. But even if they're not on YouTube or on Gmail, you can actually target the same exact people that have made a relevant search on Google in the recent past through custom intent audiences, as well as people that are reading actively an article about how to hire a wedding photographer or reading reviews about a particular wedding photographer that's in your or similar price point. And what you do is you have a little banner ad that shows up on those web pages, which naturally it's all just comes down to math. If you set up your tracking appropriately, you can see what your cost per lead is, and then your leads, you can track your closing rate using a lead tracking program like a CRM system, or you can do this through CallRail, and you can just see if it's profitable or not. And if it's not, you just lower what you're willing to pay for a click. You'll get less leads, but you'll still be able to make some money from those placements. The best with the display campaigns, though, admittedly, is only advertising on web pages about wedding photography, hiring a wedding photographer, not targeting anybody on any website if they search for a wedding photography phrase in the past. Why? And why do you do the display campaigns last? Is because the display network has a lot of bot traffic on it. It's harder to get to monetize. Showing up on YouTube and on Gmail, basically getting in front of most, if not all, real eyeballs, and therefore it's a lot easier to monetize. That is actually why Facebook ads work so well, because you get in front of real people. Facebook's able to police bots on their website a lot, so you are getting in front of real people. You could take the same model before you hiring a wedding photographer in Dallas. You need to know this information. You can take that same offer, target people on Facebook using engaged audiences or engagement audiences. So basically, if somebody has said that they have gotten engaged recently, that's the particular audience on Facebook that we found works. You go ahead and you start hitting them with the ad, because obviously that's the perfect time. That's the best thing about Facebook is they actually know when you're engaged and you can hit them with the ad. Then it's just a matter of, do you have an offer good enough in order to monetize that traffic? Because just saying you have wedding photography, it's boring. Nobody cares about that. You need to be spicy or get something that's really good. You could technically say, hey, we're offering $1,000 off for March on any wedding photography package. You could go that route. If you're a discount provider, that can be effective. If you're not the discount provider, obviously you don't want to go that direction. You want to go on quality. And you can go on quality, giving them the information about what other people are doing that you don't do. And then once you've gotten them to click, you're going to call them, as I mentioned, to be able to monetize the leads. After any one of these ads get clicked, you're going to do heavy follow-up, remarketing, which in the space that you're in, on your landing pages, you should be talking about, you should be getting into your example portfolio, other weddings that you've also worked for already. Outside your reviews, that's going to be the number one thing that convinces them. On your landing page, you're going to talk about your average review rating on Google, Yelp, places that you've been reviewed, a link to examples from your portfolio and a link to see your whole portfolio, and then testimonials, ideally video testimonials, to get the highest conversion rate on the traffic that you're getting on each one of these sources that are not having to do with marketing content, the ebook I mentioned. So on your search campaign on Google and Bing, if you're targeting people that are just looking to hire, those are the things you put on your landing page. Whereas if you're marketing the ebook / information, that landing page is very simple. It's just the ebook there in a form, and that's pretty much it, because you just want them to do one thing and that's it. Whether they got to the ebook page or they got to your landing page that just offers the wedding photography services, you're going to follow up with them with the same information that I mentioned that should be on your landing page for your search campaign targeting the buying searches, which is average review rating, video testimonial, the portfolio examples. You make a whole bunch of different ads run on Facebook, on Google Display Network, on YouTube, every platform where you can remarket to people, showing them over and over and over again how many testimonials you have. We will have ads that'll just have one testimonial on it. Then what happens is the user sees that, and the next day they see another ad with another testimonial on it. Then the next day they see another ad with another testimonial on it. Then the next day they see an ad with, see our portfolio. And then when they click it, that you drive them to your portfolio. Then they see another ad that says what your rating is on Google and the not and so forth. And you can go ahead and do that. Industry-related review sites and so forth, and what your average rating out of 5 is on those platforms. And if they click on that, then can drive them to where they can verify that for themselves. The idea is that if they're not buying on price, what's going to get them to buy is the stuff that I mentioned. And what you do is you repeat it enough so that ultimately there's always a window of time from the time that people initially inquire about wedding photography and the time that they actually buy. One day comes with, they cannot delay their decision anymore. You want to be the first person they think of when that day actually comes, and you will ensure it for yourself by doing this level of follow-up I'm telling you about. It literally only costs a fraction of a penny to have a banner ad or an ad on Facebook show up for somebody when they have already been to your website like that, in which all it takes is a little bit more work, you can get that person to go with you. It's actually more profitable to go after people who have already been to your site that are in market than it is to go after new people. Actually, the follow-up ads actually support what you do to drive traffic to your site initially. It makes it more profitable so you can do a lot more of it. It will literally double the productivity of traffic you drive to your site when this follow-up is done really well on the back end. And the main reason for that is that your competitors are going to think, if I got ad money and if I have anything left over or more ad money to spend, I'm going to spend it going after new people. Whereas half of your sales comes from the follow-up because it gets people to close into a sale at a higher rate than they would otherwise if they didn't see literally 300 different ads show up for them that states every which way why you're the best person in the area. You state that you're the number one wedding photographer in Dallas 100 times in the 3-week period while you're trying to decide who they're going to go with, you're going to end up making that person assume it's you just to that repetition alone. The follow-up is also really important. What you're really doing is you're creating a funnel, right? People that aren't quite ready to hire somebody, you drive them into content, then you remarket to them. People that are ready to hire somebody, you drive them to your webpage. Whoever doesn't close right away, you follow up with them to get them to close. You track everything so that you know the lead cost you're paying from each one of these individual channels that you should track separately. You know if you have an effective, profitable cost per lead or not, so that when you hit it, you can scale up what you're spending in that area and know you can do it profitably as you scale up. You track your sales from the leads to know if you're profitable, but then you take your sales data and you plug that back into your ad accounts on these various ad platforms so you can actually optimize based upon what's producing profit for you, not just leads. That whole system ties in together to give you the bigger overall result that you want. If you want these kind of numbers, that's what you got to do, and you got to do it all the way through. Got to figure out, these are all the places that are profitable to get people, but you still got to know how to make an effective ad. You still got to know how to make an effective landing page. You still got to know how to set up your tracking so that you refine what you're doing over time, scale up parts of what you're doing that is profitable, scale back the parts that aren't, so that it just becomes more and more profitable over time. And if you set it all up the way that I'm talking about, and with your competitors knowing nothing about it, you have such an advantage over every single other person in your market enough where this is going to work for you every time. All your competition will not want to go through all the trouble of setting this up because it takes a decent amount of effort to get it set up, but this is the most efficient way to get people in your market. Out of everything that I know, I've talked to several wedding photographers. I've built multiple of these campaigns before. We've tested all the stuff for you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yes, you got to put the work in to get it set up right, but once it is, it just works and will work pretty much for years for you with minor management of those campaigns if they were set up right. If you want to know how this will work for your photography business with the level of reviews and everything you have, reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. I'll be happy to tell you what we could guarantee for your business in terms of leads, basically what you stand to gain with it. We also sell ad templates. If you're just simply wanting to buy the winning ad, landing page, those templates to get these results that you can literally just copy paste into your account, We sell those as well. Reach out to me if you're interested in that. We sell that for a one-time fee. You can just copy paste your way to success ultimately with it. It still needs to be rebranded, but fundamentally, if you want a landing page layout that works and so forth, we got it. We sell those as well as templates that work for over 100 different niche markets, because we've run Guaranteed PPC for literally over 10 years now. We've worked in hundreds of niche markets. If you're looking to get into a new business, ultimate best place to start is buying a template from us that we know will sell a item or service at a certain ROI before you even start. So you don't have any guesswork whether you can make money starting a business doing this or that. We've got people using these templates, literally speaking, to start lead selling businesses, which is a business in and itself. You can buy leads, flip those leads, mark them up a little bit. Because our template generates the leads at rock bottom cost, they can make money doing that by itself. That's a whole other side thing or opportunity. If you're interested in it, you can also ask about when you reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. If you have any questions, like one-offs about anything I covered here, I encourage you to leave a comment in the comment section. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, typically within 24 hours time. Yeah, like I mentioned here, this all sounds easy. I mean, this is the magic formula that you want to go with 100%. And I gave you all the details to do it, except for the micro details, how to actually set up a search campaign that doesn't have a bunch of waste. So that when you show up for wedding photographers as a search term, you don't also show up for wedding photographer photos, which that doesn't have your prospect in there. If you want to know how to do that, the best place to know how to set the campaigns up from start to finish the right way, the way that we use to guarantee results for our clients, literally speaking. You subscribe to this channel, also review some of our old videos, because it's all there laid out for you. I give you every single thing you need to get better ads than your competition in your local market every time. This isn't a question, because we have to do this at our firm to guarantee results for our clients, and we give you for free the working method to set it up the right way to do that. And there's no better information that you're going to find other than what you find on this channel, by the way, because most of the other information you find from other people about how to legitimately make money running ads for your business is made by people who don't really run any ads. So they run a couple ads, they don't really know anything, and they're just trying to sell you a course and whatnot. So if you're going to pay attention to anything, you want to pay attention to this information first. I have a blog that I personally write and that I review our strategies that explain how to use our strategies and how effective they are at our site at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog literally has the step-by-step instructions to use the strategies we use to guarantee results for our clients with screenshots, everything you need to follow individual strategies there as well. So you definitely want to check that out as well. But like I mentioned, to sum this up, okay, you're always going to start, whereas this may sound overwhelming, most people start one step at a time. The guy that you see making several $1 million a year in sales profitably at a 10-to-1 ROI doing this, they all started out spending $50 a day, $100 a day. They did just a small search campaign on Google targeting wedding photographers near me as a keyword, and they did nothing else. They made that a profit or have an ROI from it. Then they did the next thing, and then they just kept parlaying the money they were making into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And then over the next 3 to 5 years, they've built up to a $3 million a year business with a 10-to-1 ROI on their ad spend. So you don't have to do it all at once. You can build it, and then naturally that's the way you want to do it anyway, because you can't generally handle a bunch of clients all at once anyway. You just have to keep reinvesting your money into the rest of the campaigns, and you'll ultimately still get what you want at the end of the day. And naturally, this is only half of the process. You got to be good at sales, and you got to refine that. And so you got to crawl before you can walk. But if you start generating leads on the most productive side of things, which is what I talked about first here, then you can use the money to just set all the rest of the stuff up. Frankly, make enough where somebody else can set up everything for you, which is what I would recommend you to do, given there's no point in having to go ahead and study everything and do it 100% all yourself when it's profitable enough just to have somebody who's qualified to do it all for you if you're already busy in what you're doing now. With that said, I pretty much will wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said demand gen campaign was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it